Good morning, video world. How y'all doing today? It is Knowledge by Nikki with 1K, and I am here at my home sitting in my absolute favorite chair in the world. I call it my thinking chair. It's the chair that I get up and I just think, guys. I just literally sit down some days, some nights, and I don't know about you all, but I'm that 3 a.m. girl. I'm the girl that sits in this chair at 3 a.m. and maybe a really intense thought comes to my mind and I don't want to forget it. And so anybody out there that does that, you got that time of the day where you need to get up, your brain is actually going so much. Or who else other than me keeps like a pad and a nightstand and things that you can write ideas and things that you come up with, and you're like, oh my God, I need to write this down because by morning I'm not going to remember it. I'm not going to remember it. So this is something that I do on a regular basis. I want to talk to you all today because I did some extensive coaching yesterday and the day before. I did some in-person coaching as well as some over-the-phone coaching. And then I also do like FaceTime or Google Duo, where we're looking at each other digitally. But this is what I have assessed. And I knew this. It's not news to me, but I really understand now what our problem is as creative people. And this is where I want to focus on really helping people in the upcoming year. The thing that I want everybody to understand is what focused energy is. And let me tell you something. It is a difficult task to tell a person that is a salon owner that they can't be the owner and the person that makes all the money and the nail tech and the trichologist and I'm not saying that we can't have these multiple faceted lives and dreams, and that's not what I'm saying. I want to read something to you all. Let me get it on my iPad. I did a little homework on this. I want to read something to you all that Tony Robbins says, and I could not have said it better. So let me get to that. And this is something I want you to correlate to everything you do, not just the things that you do. Here, where are my pictures here? I gotta find my pictures. I actually saved it in my pictures, so let me find that, guys. You know, I got this new iPad. It works a little bit different, so let me find that. This is what I want you all to understand about focused energy. Now, this is Tony Robbins that says this, but I believe this. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. In order to, I'm going to go on with that and more of what he says, but in order to really achieve anything, guys, I don't care what it is, you have to, statistical data says that you have to literally be willing to dedicate 90% or more of your energy to it. You really do. You know, when we talk about something that you give 100% of your energy means your time, your mental capacity, all of that. Let me go on to finish what he says. What you focus on, you feel. Think about something that you've been really passionate about. This is why passion becomes so one-dimensional. For people that have discovered, for people that have found their passion. Some people think passionate people are obsessive, which we are. But the reason is because when we are laser focused on something and that passion becomes something that even takes us over, it becomes something we can't even control. It becomes the thing we talk about 24/7, the thing we think, the thing we feel, the thing. It becomes really who you are. When you talk about focused, as far as from an emotional standpoint, you internalize that thing. You become retarded at it. When you think about extreme athletes, I always say I believe athletes are the absolute best depiction of focused energy. When you go back into an athlete's history, all the way back since he or she was a child, you find that the ones that have become extreme athletes or who have become the absolute best at that particular sport are the ones that from the time they were knee high or before, they were laser focused on the thing that they didn't even know when they were younger that it was their passion or it was going to be their actual station in life. They just knew they loved it, they ate it, they slept it, they drank it. That's what happens. Focused energy is where your emotions will also flow. And if you've ever talked to someone that had focused energy and they were passionate about something, you can talk to them for 5 minutes. You can feel it. You can feel that they are just, they have totally engulfed this thing. So let me keep going. The power of focus affects this is Tony Robbins. The power of focus affects every aspect of your life. It does. Let me tell you how I know for a fact that it affects every aspect of my life is because, let me give you a statement that a client told me one time, and I'll never forget it. I don't even know what we were talking about, but I was having some, I think, personal struggles, and I was sharing some things with her, and I just couldn't understand why something either was or wasn't happening. I don't even remember what it was. It was so long ago. She said something to me that changed the way I see everything. She said, I've watched you in your professional life for 10, 15 years or more. I've watched you, how you go about conveying how you feel, how you think, all these things to other people. She said, if you just exercise the same principles that you do professionally to your personal life, you won't have this problem. And I thought about what she said, and I said, she is 100% right. 100% right. Because there were things in my professional life that I would not take. I would not deal with. It's not even negotiable. It's not an option. But I found in my personal life, at least at that station in life, that I was wavering, that I was not having that flat-footed, this ain't happening type of mentality. And therefore, my professional life really was growing because of the boundaries and the things that I was laser focused on what it was going to be and what ain't going to happen in it. But I was not that at the time with my personal life. And when she told me that, something changed for me. And again, I'm going to read what Tony Robbins says. He says, the power of focus, it affects all aspects of your life. So what happened in that moment, guys, when she said that, I said, you know what? I wrote kind of like this list down of my morals, my principles, what I would deal with, what I wouldn't, and just kind of wrote all this stuff on this. It was a legal pad at the time. And I applied those exact same principles to my personal life. And when I say I fixed that thing, whatever it was I was talking about, really quickly, I still live that way today. If I find myself in a personal pitfall, I'll say, how far would I have let this go professionally? Or would I have let it go professionally? And it literally allows me to be able to come up with a really quick resolution of how this needs to be worked out. So, in other words, you cannot successfully be two people. When you are focused, when you are a focuser of positivity, you're not going to be positive at work and negative at home. Or you're not going to be positive at home and negative at work. It literally starts to transcend whatever you're focusing on. If you're a person that focuses on the negative aspects of people or whatever, in the negative, it works exactly the same way. You have to choose where you're going to put your focus, and your energy will follow. Let me keep going. You can focus. Oh, look, I didn't realize this is what he said. You can focus on goals at work, in your relationship or personal goals like fitness and emotional health. And you can manifest those goals into being. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know if any of you all understand about The Power of Focus, which is an excellent book, by the way, by Jack Canfield. It's the same guy that wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, that whole series of books. And it's called The Power of Focus. What Tony Robbins is saying here is the truth, guys. When I'm doing these coaching interviews and you're telling me that you got 10 things that are important to you, there is no way, I don't care how well, multitasking is not a natural process. You really cannot do these things at the same time. You may do them within the same, say, day or hour, but you absolutely cannot multitask you can't do two things at once, not really. So what happens is, and I want you all to give me a heart or a thumbs up if this is something you've experienced. Have you focused on something so hard? I mean, to the point where you ate, slept, and drank it, and then literally you walk into a place or you open a book or something happens that literally is totally in line, or God lets something show up, or a person that is totally in line with what it is that you were thinking or what it is that you were hoping happened, because you're laser focused on it and you literally start manifesting those things because that's all you think. You know what's interesting to me? When I talk to people and they'll say things like, I'll take something simple. You just bought a brand new car. These cars been on the street. But now all of a sudden, because you're focused now, you bought this car and you never paid attention to it, or maybe you did, but now you own it and now you notice everything. Now you see all these of the same cars on the street. Them cars been on the street. Everybody didn't just go out and buy one when you bought one. They've been there. But now, because you're focused on something that you own and the ins and outs and the differences and options and things that are available to you now for this particular vehicle, and I'm taking something small, all of a sudden you notice everything on the street that even looks like your car. Okay? One thing that creative people struggle with, and I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about the left brain, right brain thing. One thing that creative people all struggle with is focus. And I'm going to explain to you why. And I get into this battle all the time. Left brain, right brain, which is better, there are times in your life, guys, I don't care which one you naturally are, you're going to have to turn on and off both sides of your brain. So let me talk about that for a minute. Where are we at here? Okay. This is something I got offline, guys. It says, while several theories on the left brain, right brain dominance abound, the basics are pretty easy. And I'm going to explain to you which one is naturally more focused and which one isn't. The right hemisphere controls your body's left side, and vice versa. Left hemisphere controls your body's right side. When you use the left side of your brain, you are considered to be analytical, attentive, objective, things of that nature. Let me find, I got another one here that I actually copied for you all. Let's see, where did it go here? I want you all to see this. Basically, what it's saying is, here it is here. What it's saying is that your left brain naturally, and let me find that. I think, where did it go here? I got this all for you all. Oh, here it is here. Let me break down the differences in your left brain and your right brain. Your left brain controls these things: logic, sequencing, that means how things kind of work in a sequential order, linear thinking, mathematics, which we all know you got to focus on numbers, facts, thinking in words, that means how you can translate your thoughts. People that are known to have a dominant left side or work in their left brain are typically better at public speaking. They're typically better at communication skills. I am a left brain thinker. That is naturally. I don't even have to manufacture. I don't even have to focus on that. It's the way I typically work. Let's talk about right brain thinking. Right brain thinking consists of being more imaginative, holistic thinking. That means people with right brain concepts or dominant right brain thinking can do what we call more alternative ways of doing things. A lot of the millennials, when we talk about those of us that I call old heads that don't really understand or like millennials, I love them. I don't always understand them, but I love them. I do. They teach me a lot. They're very holistic in their thinking. That means they have a lot of alternative ways. They don't have this one way to skin a cat. They believe in inclusive thinking Because when you think holistic, you have to think more universal, more everybody has a place. It's a totally different way of thinking. It says they're more intuitive. When you think about right brain thinkers, their entire ways of generally operating is based off of their intuition, is based off of their emotions, their something that they feel or they don't feel. Arts, okay, most right brain thinkers are artsy. If you're a hairstylist, a barber, a musician, an artist, whatever that is, they're more artsy. Rhythm, there's not too many right brain thinkers or dancers that you won't notice are right brain thinkers. Right brain thinkers, they prefer entertainment. They prefer what we call an emotional experience over an intellectual experience. See, if you put a right brain thinker in a room and a left brain thinker in a room side by side, and let's say they went on their phones and their iPads and they're sitting at the airport. If you walk through an airport or somewhere, which is everywhere now, where people are on their phones and they're just got idle time to kill, doctor's office, wherever, you would literally be able to tell who's a right brain thinker and who's a left brain thinker by what they are looking at or listening to on their phones. I guarantee you, a left brain thinker, which is me, which is logic, sequential, linear thinking, mathematics, facts, thinking in words, we probably listen to some type of audio book that's talking about self-improvement. We're literally thinking about, we can't do things that to us make no sense. If it doesn't make any sense, it's very difficult. If it's not logical or it's not something that we can directly apply and make it matter in the whole scheme of things, chances are if we listen to YouTube, we listen to YouTube for information. We're not listening to YouTube for entertainment. That's the difference. If you go to a right brain thinker, they're looking at funny videos. And videos just that, just ain't no rhyme or reason. They're just funny and they're entertaining and they're just things that make them feel good. Happy, happy, joy, joy. And there's nothing wrong with either. But if you walk through a place where people are sitting with idle time, I'm in the airport a lot, I literally find myself walking through and just kind of peeking over people's shoulders and saying, what are they looking at on their phones? You can tell automatically who's a natural right brain thinker and a natural left brain thinker. A right brain thinker is going to be watching, dance videos and things that just really, make the soul feel good. And a left brain thinker, in their idle time, they're going to be audiobooks. They're going to be looking at YouTube videos. They're going to be, like me, subscribed to Goldcast, things that inspire people. It's just naturally the way that we react. So the thing is, as you discover more of who you are and how your brain, I didn't finish the right brain. Let me finish the right brain. Right brain also is very big on nonverbal cues. That means right brain thinkers are very intuitive, which I already said that, in what is not said, in what somebody think they mask, but their actions said it, even though they think they mask it. Right brain people are very intuitive in understanding what you didn't say. Non-verbal cues, what you really meant, but you claim you didn't mean it. No. We know what you meant. Okay. And I say we because I actually I'm naturally a left brain thinker, but because I deal with right brain people and I have evolved from being a right brain, probably equal in my thinking, I still have, or I know how to turn one off and one on when I need to be more intuitive, when I need to be more holistic in my thinking. The key in life is that there are going to be opportunities in times more than not where you're going to have to do both. Okay, so let me keep going. Feelings and visualization. Now, that's where I don't really care. Meaning, I'm a movie buff, but I don't watch the movies. I listen to them. I can have a whole movie on, not ever look up at it, and literally be able to tell you everything that just happened in that movie. I can listen to voices, and I will tell you this, for those of you all that are owners, but you may also be educators or have a platform where you deliver things to people and you're helping them with their focused energy, you have to understand that your audience is going to be comprised of a lot of different type of people. People that are right brain thinkers will typically want to sit, I would say not quite in the front, but they'll want to sit from the middle to the back. Okay, right brain thinkers, they have to sit at least close enough to see, but they don't want to sit so close that it's just too close to you. The people that are going to sit in the first couple rows are going to be your left brain thinkers, because left brain thinkers generally have more of an auditory learning style. They need to hear it. Right brain thinkers need to just, as long as they can see you, they don't have to be right up on you, but as long as they can see you, they're generally good. Even the way your class will be positioned or your audience will be positioned is positioned based off of how they respond to information, how they gather information. What I believe, and I've learned a lot about this in reading, right brain thinkers, the reason they don't sit right up front is because right brain thinkers are known to have, I don't want to say unfocused behaviors, but really that's what's said, meaning it is harder for a right brain person to focus, and they want to sit far enough back where if it ain't working for them and they ain't getting it, they have a way to exit, as opposed to sitting there and listening or watching something that is totally not entertaining for them. A right brain person will also be a person, so they want to sit where they can exit quicker. You don't want to sit up front, and then if you ain't really feeling it, you got to walk through the whole audience to get up out of there. Left brain thinkers will sit closer to the front because their focus is different. They literally have more tunnel vision, which is very true. This is statistical data. So they want to sit closer to where they are not distracted by a lot of movement, by a lot of people, by a lot of stuff. They want all the other stuff behind them. Now, let me tell you why all of this is relevant. And then it also says the last thing is that right brain thinkers do a lot of daydreaming. That means, and I had to learn this, a right brain thinker will go into what I call Charlie Brown Lucy mode. For those of you all old enough to know what I'm talking about, if you go back and you look at some old Charlie Brown and Lucy movies, when Charlie Brown is really not trying to hear what Lucy is saying, you'll hear the words, and then all of a sudden it'll go fuzzy, and it'll go, That means he is not paying attention to what, he ain't even heard Lucy no more. He don't know what she talking about because he checked out. He like, whatever. A right brain thinker will literally check out on you if what you're saying, if they don't feel it, if it's not rhythmic enough, if it's not, they gotta feel that thing. If they don't feel it, they ain't hearing it. They don't even do it on purpose, guys. So don't think it's rude. Don't think they just intentionally just went off somewhere else on you. They'll flip the subject on you because whatever you were doing or talking about, they couldn't feel it. It didn't resonate here. And so a right brain thinker will literally, y'all know what I'm talking about. And it used to crack me up when Lucy would just be fussing. Charlie Brown would just zone out and just be, he ain't heard none of that, right? So this is what I want you all to at least understand about how you process information. Now, I will say this to all of you all. You know my heart is with salon owners. I have a lot of regular entrepreneurs that watch my videos as well, and they don't do hair. So the same thing applies to them. When you discover first who you are, and I want to give you all a book real quick before I just thought about it. It's a book I read years ago. It's called At Left Brain, Turn Right. I think that's the name of it. At Left Brain, Turn Right. What it talks about is when you're dealing with focused energy, you have to learn, first of all, who you are, how you function, more left brain, more right brain. I'll read through those things again. And then you have to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. You're naturally going to operate in more of one than the other. But I will say this, if you are an entrepreneur, that's where I was going. You're an entrepreneur, salon owner of any nature. You cannot, and I will say this, and it's the truth, and a lot of my right brain owners have discovered this. You cannot operate a business of any sort without somebody there having a left brain way of thinking. Because businesses cannot flow, they cannot scale, they cannot function successfully without systems, order, let me read the other ones, linear thinking at times. They can't function. They just can't. So if you naturally are not designed for that, you may literally have to partner with someone or hire a manager or an assistant manager, whatever you want to call them, that literally has that dominant way of thinking. That person will help you stay focused. Now, let's flip it. If you are totally left brain thinking, which I'm more dominantly left brain, I have to have people around me that are literally more rhythmic, have more spontaneity, have more of understand more nonverbal cues, have more holistic ways of thinking, are way more imaginative, because my personal assistant, total right brain thinker, she literally assists me. She helps me to not be boring, rigid, so structured that it's like just too structured. She literally helps me with that balance of both. Even when it comes to understanding things that, normally I would be like 1, 2, 3 and that's it. She's like, no, loosen up a little bit. And she helps me reactivate the right side of me, which actually still allows me to focus, but focus with a sense of alternative ways of doing things, understanding, bending the rules, being more flexible. This is what the name of the game is. So now, I said all that to say, y'all, that as you move through life, as you move through whatever the thing is that you really want to do, you have to understand, though, I don't care how you focus, I don't care whether you're right brain or left brain thinking, the one thing you cannot do is try to do everything at the same time. I'm watching my business owners, my salon professionals, my barbers, my suite owners, I'm watching their dreams be killed because they're trying to exhaust all their energy on everything. It is impossible, guys. It can't be done. As my friend in California used to tell me all the time, he said, Nikki, everything can be important, but everything cannot be urgent. You cannot make everything urgent. You cannot focus on everything as if it's urgent. It's not possible. So this is what I want everybody to do. I want your assignment for the next, 15, 16 days, 14 days of this year. I want your assignment to be to write down 2. I didn't say 5. I said 2. Write down 2 things that you want to be laser focused on. And I mean, when I say laser, I mean laser focused on, no diversion, no nothing. We know life happens. I ain't talking about just stuff you got to do. I'm talking about where you really are going to put your energy. I want you to write 2 of those things down. And I want you to make sure that from now to the end of the year, and at least maybe through the first quarter of the year, everything you do, this is what Susie Orman says in her book, Women in Money. When you really become wise, it's her definition of wisdom, is when everything you say, you do, you feel, you think, and what's the other one? Feel, think, do, say, it's one more, I forgot what it is, are all the same. That means if my energy is focused on one of those 2 things, or both, everything I do has to line up with one of those. It can't, if it's outside of that, no, I ain't doing it. I don't want it. I'm not going to be bothered with it because it doesn't line up. It's not a part of one of these 2 things. It's not a part. I'd really rather you get one. But I know my creative people might have 2 things that they flow between. Okay? Because we're going to scale that down eventually. Everything you do, you have, you feel, you say. God, it's one more I can't think of it. It's in her book called Women in Money. But that's when you start to see things really happen. That's when you're going to start. So 2 things. And in the first quarter, every opportunity somebody gives you, if it ain't in line with that, say no. Learn how to say no. If somebody offers you whether it's an opportunity or you want to buy something or whatever. You want to bring something into your business. I don't care what it is. If it is not in line or has anything to do with one of those two things, the answer is no. The answer is absolutely, positively, no. I'm not doing it. I don't want it, because all that's going to happen is you'll keep stretching yourself. What's that statement? You'll be a master of many trades. What is it? Jack of many trades, master of none. That's what's going to happen. It's literally like having a bunch of books on a shelf and you ain't finished none of them. I will not buy another book until I read the ones I got. Meaning I may have two that I'm flowing between. I don't care. I get Audible. I got so many credits on Audible. I think after 5 or 6 credits, you start losing credits. You can't get no more than that. So I'm like, okay, I got to hurry up and read these books so I don't lose credits, because I'm not going to buy another one until at least I have usually 2 that I'm juggling between. Like right now, I'm juggling between Managing Oneself, and then I'm also rereading the Cash Flow Quadrant. I've read it before, but I'm rereading it because I'm going through highlighting certain things. So I'm juggling between those 2. One is more I call for self-improvement. The other one is more action-oriented. I need to do something. My business needs to do X, Y, Z. So that's typically how I'm flowing between 2 things. One is kind of when I'm, you know what, I don't want to think that hard today, but I still want to read something that makes sense. And then the other one is because, okay, I actually want to do what this book says. So that's the 2 books. But why go out and buy 10 more? They're going to sit. Okay? I can't even get to them. So I need you to find 2 things. 2. That's it, guys. I can tell you what my 2 are for next year. One is more on the left brain side. The other one is more on the right brain side. But they still connect. So let me give you that example. My focus for next year is 1,000% coaching. I didn't say 100. I said 1,000. That means I don't care who asks me to do something. If there is not a benefit in it that directly connects with me coaching someone or someone coaching me or something to do with coaching, the answer is no. Don't even ask me. I'm not doing it. The second thing is connections, meaning that's the right brain side of me. That's the side that says, okay, connections are also part of coaching, meaning that I'm invited everywhere all the time, like all the time. And rarely do I go because I am always in left brain mode, strategizing this and that. But I have to now turn on my right brain a little bit so that I can make further connections with people in various settings. And even that's still strategic. That don't mean I'm going to go everywhere. But I look at the invitations that I get and I say, okay, it makes sense for me to go to this, that, and the other. Relax a little bit, connect with people, socialize a little bit. These are specific social environments, because the one thing I will not do is put myself in even a social environment that contradicts the real person that I am, which is about coaching, helping, positivity, building. Meaning if the social environment starts now to go the opposite direction of what's over here, meaning this is negative, they ain't doing nothing but talking about folks, I eat healthy, it's too much bad food over here, this, that, then guess what, guys? That's a connection that I'm not going to make. I say, y'all do you. I don't want to do that connection. So even in me, so coaching and connecting, those are my 2 left brain, right brain things that I'm doing. Period. You ask me to do something else, if I say no, don't trip, because that ain't got nothing to do with these. It ain't. I have to still connect with a purpose. And I have to be able to coach and be in a capacity where I'm helping people. And I'm growing, and they're growing, and we're growing, and we're helping each other. And because coaching is a partnership, it's not just one-sided. I learn as much from them. They don't know this, but I learn as much from them as they do from me. If it is not in one of the, that's my 2. I need you to pick 2. What I need y'all to do, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to have kind of an interactive live. I want to have a focus group, if that's not an oxymoron. I want to have a focused energy focus group. That means I want to do a live video where we're able to connect. I'll keep you all posted on this. And I want everybody who's interested, this free, y'all, ain't no money involved in this. I want you all to tell me what your two things are. Matter of fact, right now, if you got two things that you know, this all I'm doing, I ain't doing nothing else. Put it up on the screen. Put it up on the screen. Mind, coaching, and connecting. That's it. The 2 C's. I ain't doing nothing else. If it ain't got nothing to do with that, don't ask me. I ain't doing it. I'm not buying it. I'm not coming. If it does not have something to do with both of those, and let me say this, even though one is right brain and one is left brain, somewhere they should still be able to leverage each other. One should still, for instance, my connections. I connect with people. I went to a social gathering. I went to Atlanta this weekend. That was the reason I went there. Now, mind you, I coach a lot of people in Atlanta. Okay, I see one said coaching and speaking. Come on, let me see the rest, y'all. The thing that has to happen, though, is that even when I went to Atlanta, guess what happened? I went to this social function. I got 3 people that want coaching out of that function. You see what I'm saying? Meaning this still leveraged this. Y'all with me? When I coach, I still leverage things over here. I still, out of coaching, get invitations to things that will expand what it is that I'm focused on. So what this now allows me to do, I am actually getting ready to sit at my computer, and I have at least 10, y'all hear me? 10 submissions, 10 that people waiting for me to give them for what I want to do at these classes. I love it. Connections and writing a book, product, and now product, what does that mean? Product. What does that mean? That's too vague. You got to be specific. Classes, you mean go to classes, product, learn about product, whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you just didn't put it up here. I need you to be specific. If I say coaching, let me break it down more, because when I do our live and we talk about this, I'll break down more of what I'm doing. I gave you 2, okay, coaching and connections. Let me break down coaching. That means by the end of the year, I will have X amount of people in my coaching group, meaning people that I coach, period. I know how many I want. I'm going to make sure that everything I need to set in place. That means I'm starting a podcast. I'll have several ebooks. I'm in the process of digitizing my entire coaching workbook so we can flow through it a lot better. So I'm literally doing everything. But my goal is at the end of the year, I want to be coaching X amount of people, period. Okay? Let's talk about the social side, the right brain side. The people I connect with in coaching have become part of my social circle. They've become part of my circle that is actually, they invite me to things that are business oriented, things where now I can meet more people to coach. Or I can now have a platform, because some of it is actually professional kind of social gathering. It's a little bit of both. Or I'm given more platforms which I can now display or talk about my passions, my goals, the things that I actually really want to do to help people and to build up this industry. I'm now also given platforms through these social connections that came through coaching so that I can now build actually both. Okay? I see people out here selling product and teaching classes on the product. Okay, this is something else. Let me give you a little bit more to go on. When I also am building these arenas in coaching, it's also giving me platforms all over this country. So now the people that are owners, that actually have a right to say what goes on in their spaces, when I need to come to their city, I have places now. And if I want to do a social event in, say, New York, I now have 5 to 10 people in New York that own salons or own spaces that I now don't always have to rent out a space to be able to do other things that build coaching. Are you with me? So my point is, whatever those 2 things are, let those 2 things have worlds that somewhat connect. They connect a little bit. I see we got speaking and networking. I love it. This is something that has to happen. So that's my girl, Mimi Hawkins, my baby, who I'm so glad to see is doing well. But when you talk about speaking, I'm talking to you, Mimi. When you talk about speaking and networking, that means every time you go somewhere and speak, I want you to make it your business. The minute you walk in that room to say, who in here am I going to connect with to get an opportunity to do something else outside of here? Go in there with the intention that, okay, them over there, they look like they talking about this. Let me buddy in conversations. While I'm speaking, let me ask certain questions so I can feel out the room and know who's in here. And if somebody says, okay, I'm the owner of this over here, make sure people let you know who they are, where they from. Because right there, if you hear somebody that says, I'm the owner of this and that, you like, ding, 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 ding. How about this? How about if I come to your studio? Are you looking for someone to come speak at your company? That's when you now start soliciting. Now you're speaking and networking. You're doing it at the same time, but this is intentional. You got to come in with a plan. Like, okay, I know I was hired here to talk, but I'm going to get something out of this because I want to speak somewhere else. And if I don't intentionally engage people in conversation or say things to get them to tell me more about them, and except y'all with me? This is what has to happen. This now starts honing your focus in. It starts centering your focus into this is all I'm doing. I ain't doing nothing else. You know what actually happens when you do that? You don't even see nothing else. Stuff be going on around you. You be totally oblivious to it because A, you don't care. That's when people come talk to you about stuff. You go into I ain't even hearing nothing you just said because it has no relevance, no bearing. It's stupid. I don't even want to hear that. I definitely don't want to hear you talking about people. I don't want to hear too much talking about things because things just make people broke and spend a bunch of money that they ain't got. I don't want to hear nothing about all that either. We ain't going to talk all day about shopping because shopping is cool. We can have, it's Christmas time. I get it. But we ain't going to spend all day talking about spending money. How about this? Let's spend all day about talking about saving some money, stacking some money, investing some money so we can end this thing well. Okay, that's a whole nother day, y'all. Whole nother day, another conversation. But I need all of the people that are watching this. I need everyone that is listening to me, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, I don't care where you are. I need us to focus on no more than two things. When I interview y'all for coaching, y'all talking about, okay, Nick, I want to do this, that. And I'm listening. I let them talk for about 90 minutes and I'm just saying, Lord have mercy. Okay. And I'm trying to figure out of everything you just said, which two we need to focus on because we can't do all of those. Okay. And I'm listening to this and then I'll ask the question after they talk for a whole hour straight with no interruption from me. I'll say, okay, out of everything you just told me, what do you want to focus on first? That's how I get them to kind of streamline a little bit. What do you want to focus on first? And believe it or not, guys, some people can't even, if you can't come up with that, what you want to focus on first, then we got some problems. We're going to have to go back. And now I'm going to have to help you dig through some stuff. And I'm going to have to help you streamline. That's right, Desi. It's one of my coaches. I love her. Two Desiree Greenwood. And yours, I know, is photography is one. She's a hairstylist. That's an awesome photographer. And I know she wants to get her clientele solidified to the point where it'll free her up. She wants to, what's the word we want to call it? She wants to learn how to, I'm trying to think where you organize your clientele in a way where it just kind of runs on automatic and you know who coming, all standings. You ain't got to be worried about, you ain't got to really almost do any marketing in that area anymore because it will free you up now so that you can now, her focus has shifted. She's an excellent hairstylist that has plenty clients, but you know, they still making appointments as they go. I told her, no. You want to have it where you know who coming Thursday at 1, Thursday at 2, Thursday at 3, Thursday at 4, Thursday at 5, Thursday at 6. It's written in the book. It don't never change. They come every week, every other week. Get that rock solid. Then you ain't even got to think about appointments. You almost ain't even got to look at the appointment book. And now you can divert more of your focus towards building your photography business, which really ties in because all the clients, they got grandkids, they got kids, they got parties, they got this, they getting married. Now your photography can be leveraged with the people that you already have built the loyalty with. Are y'all with me? 2 things, y'all. I want to hear more than 2. Sit. That's all I want to hear. All right? So y'all just keep looking for, I'm going to do, I call it this focused energy focus discussion, focus group. All right? We're going to do a live on that, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it big, because I'm trying to help y'all the best way I can, and you can't do all this stuff at one time, y'all. It's not going to happen. Everything, I'm going to leave you with this, what my friend says to me all the time. Everything can be important, but everything can absolutely not be urgent. So let's focus more on the urgent things first. We'll eventually get through the important list. And let me tell you what'll happen sometime. When you focus and you ain't got but 2, you'll realize some of that stuff you thought was so important ain't even that important no more. I don't even need food with that no more. Let that go. All right? This is what it means to have focused energy. So this is Knowledge by Nikki, y'all, with 1K. I'm out. You all come see me. I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of stuff up. I'm going to put up my link to my Facebook app page, my Facebook community, guys. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I just got to breathe for a minute. And then I'm going to get somebody to do that for me, because I can do it, but I ain't got time to do all that, y'all. So delegating is a whole nother Facebook, YouTube, Instagram talk I'm going to have. So peace out. You all have a wonderful Tuesday. See you tomorrow.